Ral tried to roar. What emerged was a pathetic squeak that sent the other cubs into snarling laughter. "Again, do it again." Vexler circled him, teeth bared in amusement. The pack training grounds echoed with their mockery, proper roars, deep and resonant, the kind that rattled bones and established dominance, the kind Ral would never produce. His voice box had been malformed since birth, a genetic defect rare among the Carthax. In a species where every social interaction began with vocal displays, where disputes were settled through roaring contests, where even greetings required proper guttural inflections, Ral was broken. "Cargo hauler," his broodmaster had declared after the third failed evaluation, or waste management, nothing that requires communication. Ral was 12 cycles old, and his life was already over. Dr. Catherine Owen had been studying the Carthax for 18 months, and their vocal complexity still staggered her. But today, watching the cubs train, she noticed something unusual. One small cub stood apart from the group. When the others roared, he remained silent. When they postured and vocalized, he watched. And the way he watched. Catherine leaned forward. The cub's eyes tracked every movement. His ears swiveled to catch sounds from all directions. His tail moved in subtle patterns that mirrored the emotional content of nearby conversations. And his face, she'd never seen a Carthax with such expressive features. She pulled up his file. Ral, defective voice box, assigned to sanitation detail next month. Something clicked in her mind. "You don't need permission to observe our failures," Broodmaster Thornclaw rumbled when Catherine requested access. "Take him. Perhaps your studies will find some use for him." In her research space, Catherine smiled at the nervous cub and did something strange. She raised her hand and moved her fingers in a deliberate pattern. Then she pointed at herself. "Catherine." Ral tilted his head. The human repeated the gesture, then pointed at him expectantly. He understood. Communication, not sound but movement. He raised his clawed hand hesitantly and mimicked the gesture. Catherine's smile widened. "Good, now let's try more." Over the following weeks, Ral discovered the ability to express himself completely. Catherine taught him adapted signs from human languages, modified for Carthax physiology. His four-fingered hands, his tail, his ears, his facial features, all became instruments of expression. "You're not broken," she signed one day. "You're just speaking a language your people haven't discovered yet." The concept stunned him. Not broken, just different. Catherine had him work through increasingly complex ideas, abstract concepts requiring multiple signs in combination, stories needing facial expressions to convey emotion. He even learned to make jokes. A sarcastic ear flick combined with a specific hand gesture made Catherine laugh every time. "You're thinking in 3 dimensions," she observed. "Carthax vocal communication is linear, one sound after another. But you're layering meaning. Hand signs for words, ear positions for emotional context, tail movements for emphasis. You're creating sentences that exist in space and time simultaneously." Ral formed the sign for understanding combined with growing. He was learning to be a person again. The breakthrough came accidentally. Ral was practicing in a common area when a small group of cubs passed by. One, a female named Shira, walked with a limp, her jaw damaged from an old injury. She couldn't roar either, and others ignored her completely. She stopped watching his hands. Her eyes widened. Ral repeated the sign slowly. "Hello, my name is Ral." Shira's ears shot forward. She raised her own hands, fumbling, trying to copy him. Within an hour, 3 more cubs had joined them, 2 with hearing damage. One born completely mute, the outcasts. Ral taught them what Catherine had taught him, and for the first time in their lives, the silent cubs had conversation. Within 2 months, sign language had spread to a quarter of the cubs at the facility. Instructors noticed improved spatial reasoning and tactical thinking in those who learned it. Then Commander Scar visited. The scarred warrior watched Ral demonstrate tactical signs: danger, enemy, flank left, hold position, advance. His tail and ears added layers of urgency and distance. Scar's eyes gleamed. Our raiding parties are compromised because someone roars at the wrong moment. Could you teach this to my stealth units? Ral signed yes, with an ear flick of enthusiasm. 3 cycles later, Ral stood before the Council of Pack Leaders, the highest governing body of the Carthax. A year ago, he'd been destined for waste management. Catherine spoke, while Ral signed on screens throughout the chamber. Honored Council, I present not a new communication method, but a new way of thinking. Ral has created the first true secondary language in Carthax history. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Ral's hands moved through the presentation with confidence. This system expands our traditional communication. It allows speech in vacuum, underwater, across distances, in stealth operations. It provides voice for the voiceless, and it creates neural pathways enhancing spatial reasoning and tactical planning. Every species we've encountered has multiple communication modes. We Carthax have limited ourselves to sound alone, until now. The High Pack Leader leaned forward. And what of tradition, the roaring contests that have determined our hierarchies for millennia? Ral's ears flattened respectfully, but his hands remained steady. Tradition has value, but so does evolution. I was born unable to roar, considered worthless. Catherine Owen showed me I was not broken. My people simply lacked the language I needed. I have not destroyed tradition. I have added to it. Silence. Then Pack Leader Vorn rose, his once legendary roar now weakened by age. His hands moved hesitantly but clearly. I support this proposal. One by one, other pack leaders rose, their hands speaking where voices once dominated alone. Catherine found Ral on the observation deck that night. You did it, she signed. Full implementation approved. His hands moved slowly. I am grateful to you, to humans. Why humans specifically? His ears swiveled thoughtfully. My people saw a defect and assigned me to waste disposal. Humans see problems as puzzles. You look at what is and imagine what could be. HFY, this is not about humans being stronger or smarter. It is about seeing potential where others see failure. About believing different does not mean broken. You do not just overcome obstacles. You show others how to overcome theirs. Catherine felt tears well up. You overcame this, Ral, not me. His hands moved with gentle correction. You built the bridge I walked across. That is the human gift. 50 cycles later, Ral stood in the Institute of Gestural Communication. Hundreds of students studied under his curriculum. The squeaking cub destined for sanitation had become Ral the founder, Ral the linguist. In the entrance hall stood a statue, a Carthax and a human, hands raised in the first sign Ral had learned. Hello. Beneath it, an inscription. When one path closes, humanity helps you build a new one.